Once upon a time, there was a man who came to the Buddha with a question. "Master," he asked, "why do we suffer?" The Buddha replied, "Because you desire." The man was confused. "But isn't desire natural? How can we not desire?" The Buddha smiled and said, "Desire is like a fire. It can provide warmth and light, but it can also burn and destroy. You must learn to control your desires, to use them wisely, and not let them control you." The man thought about this and asked, "But how do I control my desires?" The Buddha replied, "Through mindfulness and meditation, you can develop awareness and insight into your thoughts and emotions. By observing them without judgment or attachment, you can free yourself from their grip." The man was inspired by the Buddha's words and became his student, dedicating himself to the practice of mindfulness and meditation. Over time, he found that his desires no longer controlled him, and he was able to live a peaceful and contented life.
Once upon a time, there was a young man who was filled with anger and resentment. He felt wronged by the world and believed that life was unfair. One day he came to the Buddha and asked him, "Master, why does life have to be so difficult?" The Buddha replied, "Life is difficult because you make it so. Your anger and resentment are like two arrows that you shoot at yourself. They only cause you more pain and suffering." The young man was confused. "But how do I let go of my anger and resentment?" The Buddha replied, "Through the practice of mindfulness and meditation, you can learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. You can learn to let go of your anger and resentment and cultivate compassion and understanding instead." The young man was inspired by the Buddha's words and became his student. Over time, he learned to let go of his anger and resentment and found peace and happiness in his life.
Once upon a time, there was a young monk named Tissa who wanted to learn about the true nature of the universe. He went to his teacher and asked, "Master, can you teach me about the nature of the universe?" The teacher replied, "Of course, Tissa, but first, let's go for a walk in the forest." As they walked, the teacher pointed to a tree and asked, "Tissa, what do you see?" Tissa replied, "Master, I see a tree." The teacher then asked, "But do you see the tree's roots, its trunk, its branches, and its leaves?" Tissa replied, "Yes, Master, I see all those things." The teacher then asked, "But do you see the life force that animates the tree, the energy that flows through it, and the interconnectedness between the tree and the environment around it?" Tissa was silent, realizing that he had only seen the surface level of the tree and had not truly understood its nature. The teacher then said, "Tissa, the nature of the universe is like the tree. It is interconnected, and everything in it is constantly changing and evolving. To truly understand the nature of the universe, you must look beyond the surface and see the deeper interconnectedness of all things." This story teaches us that to truly understand the nature of the universe, we must go beyond our limited perceptions and see the interconnectedness of all things.